there's that dead air. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. We are back. The three dudes, Trekkies. Welcome to the Technically Trek podcast. I'm Crewman Tommy.
I am PVG.
I'm supposed to introduce you.
Oh, sorry.
I was doing a Kirk pause.
Oh,
and
dramatic.
We have Crewman Mgyx.
Mgyx. Shazam. So if the cartoon is I need to hop right into this.
Oh, you're hopping into the cartoon, the anime Star Trek, the animated series, season
Star
1,
Trek, not Star Trek. Star Trek. Get it right.
Star Trek, season 1, episode 7 of the animated series.
So, if Big Spock is still alive, where is Big Spock in canon? And the rest of the world, and why have they
He's
not
on
used him?
Fallujah.
Why didn't they go back?
Right. They could have used them for something.
Why did you have to go search for Spock? In the search for Spock, you could have gone back to where you already know there's a Spock.
You could have had like Spock Ultraman.
If you know, you know.
Well, here's my question. Did he clone, when he cloned Spock, did he also clone his clothes? Because he did have a giant size Starfleet uniform.
Oh, yeah. And they had a huge, oh, wait, they didn't have, oh, my bad. I was about to say, and they had a big ass comm badge, but those weren't comm badges.
Patches.
Those are just embroidered patches.
Well, he cloned that too.
So, yeah, I mean, you could have saved a whole movie and be like, hey, we lost Spock. Well, we always have a backup, the big Spock. Let's go grab him.
Right. Oh, there's Raina's got some friends out in the pool, so there's like screaming every now and then.
I cannot hear that, so I don't think our audience can either.
Lucky for them. There's not too much to talk about with this episode, and I think we're probably coming up on a pattern with the animated series.
I think it was probably one of the better episodes. Not by much, but just
better than what?
Just a little. Well,
yeah. What are you grading this against?
the other animated episodes.
Any animation ever in history? I mean, are we going against like Hanna-Barbera?
No, I liked. There was a couple episodes back. I liked the animated series. I don't remember what it was about.
Or the animation.
I just remember liking one so far.
Before we watched this episode, Magic made a comment. He said, "How long do we got to do this?"
So it was a. So
it's hard.
Tom knows the burn. Those who've gone into this franchise, saying, "Hey, I'm going to watch an entire season. And I'm going to watch the beginning to the end." You can get burned out and I think it's mainly when it's outside of your time. Although Enterprise was during Tom's time, so that's just an issue he has. But like the OG series, I watched it as a child with a child's mind. Same thing with a cartoon. And I'm forced to go back 30 years, 40 years later, and I'm like, I feel like I'm grounded. I feel like I'm on punishment, and my reprieve is I get to sit inside the house while all my friends are outside playing and watch shitty animation like Star Trek. Johnny Quest was way better, but like watching Star Trek and Scooby-Doo or Tom and Jerry. Yeah, I never liked those, and that's why I'm like, so right now I'm getting the same burn that I got after I finished season 2 of the original series. I'm feeling that burn already in the animation.
I would be curious how many people have actually watched Star Trek, the animated series. I had never watched it before we started doing this.
Right. Me too.
I can't imagine anybody watching through these episodes.
I've watched some as a child, but that was it. I think I tried watching them as an adult once, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? Actually, I said, what the fuck is this? And then I said, hey, there's a thing called the internet. I bet you I could go back and watch all the Johnny Quest episodes. And I think I started to go do that. I immediately went off the Trek band and went off to watch something else. I don't know how many people have actually made it through watching.
If we could take a survey, that would be interesting to know how many people, Trekkies, right? I don't expect non-Trekkies. Yeah,
you got to put the stipulation that as an adult, how many adults have watched this? Because kids, you'll watch anything, especially if it's a reprieve from being on punishment.
Yeah. Sherry says we got to make sure the kids don't get a hold of our twisteds. True.
Just so the younger generation knows, punishment is when you're grounded. Other cultures call it on restriction, or in the brig, or I forgot what other term, military term there was that parents used to use. But it means you can't go outside or do nothing. My thing was I wasn't allowed to basically leave my room. No radio. That's that public air radio thing that you listen to where you can hear music. No radio, no TV, no going outside.
They call that terrestrial radio.
Yes. But, that was my punishment back then. I wasn't allowed to do any of that stuff. But now, you kids today, you guys don't know about it. There's a thing outside called grass. It's the green stuff, and there's dirt. That's the brown stuff on the ground.
Dirt.
It's type shit. No
well,
cap.
All right, so are you saying that we should put a pause on watching the animated series? Because
I'm okay with watching them, but I've honestly noticed that I don't have to watch it. I can listen to it.
I don't know if our viewers, so if we've got new viewers, we watch a 20-minute episode of Star Trek, the animated series from, I think, 1973. There's 2 seasons worth. So every Sunday before we go live, we get together 30 minutes early and we watch an episode. I mean, I do think it gets us into like a jolly, jovial mood, and it gives us a chance to start drinking. But
I'm not saying that we have to stop. PBG.
No.
What are your thoughts on all this?
I would. Let's continue. And
maybe it gets better. Let's keep going.
It gets better. And
does it?
It's kind of like a time machine.
The animated series gets better?
Oh, I don't know. I've never watched it until now. But I'm hoping it gets better.
Fake news us.
Yes, it's awesome. That's what brought the movies out. Yeah. Now I'm thinking it's a time machine, and it'll bring us back to what things were like back then, where the writers were, and
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the animated series from 1973 and 1974, whenever it was, that's considered canon, right? That is considered actual lore. Right? So there is a big Spock out there somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. We need to get to the nitty. Here, let me get my thumb right. We need to get to the nitty gritty of this, of the function, of the principality of this. Where is that Spock? And is this duplicate Spock in every multiverse? Is he in the Kelvin as well as the other?
Well, maybe. We're not done with the animated series, so maybe they address this before the series wraps up.
Does he continue to get cloned?
Maybe he, like a lot of times with clones is they can't live very long, right? Because they age so quickly.
Wait. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Plus, he was a plant.
Oh, shit.
He's a plant.
What happens when Spock hits his pond bar?
Oh, boy.
Oh, damn.
Is it a giant pond bar? Is it doubled up?
He gonna need to clone to Paul.
Right. I mean, no, T'Pol's dead.
Oh, he can't clone her then. Well, maybe they can get her DNA.
We're gonna have to do
I
something.
mean, it is on the NX-01, so yeah. What happens when he has to hit his Pon Farr? Get his Pon Farr on.
Well, maybe he's past it.
He'll be looking at that Steven Seagal looking dude.
That's his only option.
Yeah.
Bend
Nut
over,
chin.
my guy.
Canuts, aka Star Trek Diddy.
I guess he'll find out for real if under that little kilt he's wearing, if he got no panties on.
Star Trek Diddy.
I mean, he was. Dude had nuts for chins and then titties for a hairline. Like, yeah, there were, what was the movie? It was in the 70s. It may have been, no. What is the movie that Digital Underground did with Chevy Chase? The Digital Underground song is in the Chevy Chase movie.
Well, it
but
couldn't have
has
been
some-
from the 70s.
Vacation.
No, but no, it's got a fucked up judge who's got like a penis for a nose.
Oh, I know what you're talking
but
about.
his hair is like got boobies, like his forehead, instead of like horns, there are like boobies there that he tries to mask up. But anyway, that's what this dude looked like. That's why I said Chin Diddy or Chin Diddy,
So
Trek Diddy. But so nobody's feeling the burn yet. It's just me.
no, I mean, I think in general it's pretty awful.
Okay.
Star Trek the animated series in general, I would give like a 2 out of 10. Give a rating.
mean-
What would this episode we just watched? Let's do a review rating.
3 out of 10.
Wow, dude, I'm going 1.
1 out of 10.
Can we go negative?
I did 2 out of 10, and you did 3
3
out of 10.
I did 1 because in this it would be one thing if they kept the standards of the animation together. But like there's parts where McCoy looks completely different than normal. Scotty definitely looks different than normal. It's just like they didn't keep everything aligned correctly.
Oh, I know what episode I liked. The one with all the girls, and they were trying to remember the planet with all the women, and the arm changed, like the uniform.
Oh yeah. That's because
I
was
liked
more
that
like-
episode, even though the animation was terrible.
You like that episode because that is a Where's Waldo episode. Like half, like a quarter of a way into it, we're like, hold on. We paused it and we went back. We're like, okay, let's Where's Waldo this, and we started looking for faults in the animation. That's why that was an enjoyable one.
But it was also cool because Uhuru took command of the ship.
Yeah.
She took command.
Yeah.
She did. I won't discount that. But
And,
again,
she saved the day in a way.
She's on the bridge. She can do that. We got the.
It all rhymed.
I had some questions. You brought up a very good point. Unless we got something else to talk about on this animation.
I think we're gonna wrap on animated 7. We gave our reviews. They were all subpar. Let's move on.
Okay. Mention a thing about the bridge crew. And I need to find a booklet on it. And maybe this is something that's going to be addressed in Starfleet Academy. But I've been noticing. I noticed it in TNG. And then re-noticed it again in Voyager. Not so much as in DS9. Because that wasn't a starship and that was a foreign place. But then I did notice it in DS9 when they were on the Defiant. Is it a thing? And somebody posted a thing about where Deanna, I guess, does the bridge officer exam or whatever, and she has to make an order, kind of like a Kobayashi Maru, but not as bad. Well, it is bad because somebody does end up dying. But it's a test. So apparently you have to know every position and like be an expert or damn near an expert in every position. Because I have noticed Sulu can fly the plane, Sulu can fly the Enterprise. Everyone can fly the Enterprise. You know, and they're good at it. They know all the alpha whatever maneuvers. You know, they know all of that by heart apparently. Everyone can do the communications. Everyone knows how to bypass a lateral traversities and phase induction and whatever coils.
Reroute auxiliary power through the main deflector shield.
Right, exactly. You know, and knows how to detect tachyon inversion particles. They all know how to do this shit.
Right.
So it's kind of like, why?
Yeah, they're all cross-trained in everybody's position.
What the fuck is... No, that's not the thing, though. The thing is this. What is the human brain capacity in the era of Star Trek? Because think about it. So to know Tom's job, you've got to have a lot of experience in years to get toward Tom's level. Now, think if you had Tom's level of experience, and then you add your level of experience to it as well. That's 2 lifetimes. And you didn't cross-train at the same time, because then you would only be as half the person. But you have a full lifetime. It's like they all have full lifetime experiences of this. And I wonder if they use the transporter to do this. If they matrix this shit up and said, you know what? I want to learn Kung Fu. Go to the transporter and you get shuttle piloting 101 through 105 done throughout the course of your career, and it's just automatically added into your brain.
My bad.
I agree. Yeah, it's kind of.
How do I turn this off?
You stick it up your bum. Your bum sticker. So yeah, how do they all know that? And it's kind of like Crusher kind of, she's a bridge officer because she's chief medical. And she, in the final episode of Picard, is like, oh, I learned a couple of things. I picked up a couple of things, since we last were on the Enterprise. And she's all Miss Badass piloting the ship and manually shooting torpedoes, photon torpedoes, and lasers and everything else. And she just picked up like, I took a pottery class over the weekend.
That's a great point. Let's say Geordi LaForge was on the bridge and he was in the captain's chair.
You're talking about Geordi from the Next Generation. Not afterwards, because he becomes a captain, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You brought up a great point. Geordi originally started out on the bridge, working on the backgrounds, and then went to chief engineer. And it's like, okay, well, if he's a chief engineer, why was he on weapons or on comms and TNG? Like, when the fuck did you learn how to be a chief engineer?
Maybe he was rotating. Maybe that's part of being like a senior officer, is you got to work every job.
Yeah, but these are all experts at the job where, like, I could see, okay, it's, I'm going to touch into Pizza Hut here. It's kind of like, yeah, you're working every station. You're proficient at each one, but you're not an expert at each one. That's the thing. And I just realized you're wearing a Pike Command gold shirt.
Yeah, baby.
Well, because I noticed I noticed the lack of the black collar, and that's kind of the big thing.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
You get the black.
It's hot.
You get the black triangle, but you don't have the full wraparound collar like Kirk's did. So no. I like that uniform better. But what were you saying, PBT, about the cross training?
I forgot. No, let's say Geordi LaForge. He's on the bridge and he's in the captain's chair. Just the way his way of thinking is different than he's got a solving way of thinking of problems, where Picard would probably have a more strategic way of, he's strategic political way of thinking, it's.
Geordi's more of the let's get it done, let's solve the problem.
I got drink more.
I got nothing.
You need to get your brain.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It's got Jordy has a mechanical way of
Exactly.
I see the problem.
He's mechanically inclined.
This is how you get from point A to point B. And this is how you fix it. Picard is more like, well, let's look at the ramifications and let's think 3 steps ahead with the political outcome of the adversary that we're going with and blah, blah, blah. Riker is kind of more like the Kirk of, well, fuck it. Let's shoot first, ask questions later.
But like we were saying, you know, Geordi has he's very mechanically inclined, whereas Picard, he's not so much. Maybe he doesn't have enough sense to get out of the, out of the rain. But he has a whole different background in strategy. Maybe he's a great chess player. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I just want, Tom, what are your thoughts? Give some input.
No, I mean, we're talking about how you take officers on the bridge and rotate them around. But the problem is, if you've got somebody really good at one position, like a helmsman or someone at tactical or a science officer, I mean, do you risk putting someone else there to learn the ropes, in a sense? You take away someone at tactical so that someone else can learn how to do that position. But what happens if out of nowhere, you're in red alert? Now you've got a really great tactical person probably doing something like communications, and the best person for the job is not the one that's going to be doing your tactical. So is that okay? Like, is it going to teach them how to be better? Or would you rather say, all right, Worf, get up from comms and get over to tactical, and let's put whoever back over on comms so that we can get out of this confrontation that we're about to get into? It's like, I would always want my best people. Here's the thing. I don't believe in cross-training. That's just me. I think cross-training is some stupid thing from the 80s that management caught wind of. And
it was a buzzword.
Yeah, and it's still kind of lingering around to this day. But I think cross-training just makes everybody average. Instead of, you don't have superstars doing what they're best at because management wants cross-training.
I honestly think cross-training only works in like a food industry where, okay, you have a waitress that's called out, say, we need somebody to take care of it. Okay, it's good to have, an extra cook that knows how to go out there and wait, or have a shift manager go out there and do it, or somebody's missing on the line. That's great because it's all basic food. Now, if it is a high-end restaurant, not McDonald's or Pizza Hut or Burger King, but it's a high-end restaurant, you're not going to pull a kitchen staff to go be a waiter. You're too high end for that. You're just going to have to deal with it. Suck it up.
Yeah. And if you're short-handed, you want your best people doing what they're best at. Like when you're short-handed, or when you're in a critical situation, this is no time for cross-training. Cross-training is yes, I want to try new things, right? As an employee, you might say, I'm so bored being a helmsman, I want to try tactical. And your captain might say, all right, on weekends between 3 and 7, you can do tactical.
That's what it is. Because you have different shifts on the bridge crew as it is. Mm-hmm. Jellicoe said, hey, I want to move from a 3 shift to a 4 shift.
Yep.
So you have other shifts where it's low chance of something happening. So train then, but you don't train with your A team. You don't cross shift then. You do that shit on the B team and C team.
Sherry's saying, how can you discover untapped talent unless you put people in different positions?
Well, in today's day and age, it is up to that talent and the person to discover that talent and showcase it themselves. If you go through any kind of new annual review that they're doing.
Or
show us your own tap.
In today's
talent.
day and age, ain't nobody got talent, so it don't matter.
This is true.
Here's a life story. I used to play golf 100 years ago. And the guy I played with, his coincidence, his first name was Tom. And he was pretty good. And he taught me pretty much everything I learned from how to play golf. And I'm not trying to blow my own horn, but I wasn't a bad golfer. Now I'm thinking, what if Tom, the guy that taught me, wasn't that good? What if he was half-ass golfer? He just didn't. I don't think I would have been that good. So I think.
Were you good in comparison to other people?
Not Tiger Woods good, but I held my own.
So to kind of tag on that story with a guy that taught me how to play a game, Tom, racquetball. I had played racquetball with my dad, but I never knew the rules. And it took, going to the gym with Tom and him not showing up on time, where I learned the rules from somebody that actually played. No.
Asian rules.
Oh, it was an actual guy who was at a higher level than Tom. But then I thought I was okay, playing. I thought I was an okay player until I played Tom, and then my goal was to not get shut out. It wasn't to win.
Right.
It wasn't even to get close. It was
that would be a win. Like if you'd score like 3 points, that was a win.
And my mind is to score, not get shut out. That was it. And then I thought, okay, I still suck. But then I realized, okay, I could beat Mike. So I'm like, okay, before I possibly could have beat Mike, but now I can destroy Mike. And I was like, okay, I guess Tom did teach me well, but I'm still at the level of the initial guy. Yeah, it wasn't a wax on shit. It was a okay. Here's where I'm gonna hit the ball. You probably want to go stand over there. This is where he would announce every serve where the ball is going. Like after 3 corners, my mind could not calculate. Even though I could physically see where it would end up, my brain would not comprehend moving my body to get into a position to return the serve, even though I knew exactly where the ball was going. And he beat me one game. I'm gonna serve this all into the same spot every single time. All you gotta do is return it. And I couldn't do it. And I literally sat there and I started doing it to Mike, and Mike got pissed. And it was me doing it to somebody else is what got me to, this is what I need to do to return the ball. I still didn't win. I don't think I've ever beat Tom at racquetball.
Well, so basically what you're saying is if you are at a position that's a challenging position, you will learn it.
You're not going to be an expert. Tom would not, to this day, even at our peak, Tom would not be like, hey, I need you as a partner in a tournament for $1,000. He's not going to bring me to that tournament. I suck. I'm improved. I'm better than what I was, but I'm not at that level.
Well, it depends on the tournament. If it's like Special Olympics, I would bring you. Because we could win. Probably. We could probably win.
Magic, you may not be at his level, but I guarantee you would hold your own if you were to play somebody like me. It's just...
Are you good?
No.
We don't know.
Never played.
Oh,
Never
played. Yeah, he would destroy you.
Yes.
Here's the thing. So we went to the door one night. This is after my accident. Mike was talking to a friend of a friend. He was talking about playing handball because I was like, oh, those are those courts over there off of Brown and Arizona, or not Arizona Country Club. He's like, yeah. I was like, we play racquetball there, and he was like, oh, what you know about racquetball? We get into this discussion. Drinks were flowing. Needless to say, we left the club in the middle of the prime club time to go to the house, to go to that gym we used to go off of Dobson, to go play racquetball. And I still have a broken wrist. I still have pins and my wrist. But I've had some alcohol and I've had some painkillers. And Mike's like, "Oh, he's gonna destroy you. He's gonna destroy you, dude." I scored, I think, two points off this dude, and I was just like, "How the fuck? Why am I'm trying to do all my kill shots, all my little trick shots that Tom has taught me. Nothing's going." And I'm like, I suck.
Would you have a bad accuracy night?
Oh, you had a bad wing. Liquid courage helped.
I had the liquid courage and I had the pain medicine. I couldn't get my 2-finger, so I have a 2-finger serve and return.
2-finger in the stank.
Oh,
it's literally so instead of grabbing the racket with your whole hand, I grab it with 2 fingers so I can snap. And when I did that one time, I never noticed, but I felt my entire arm just go on fire because the recoil. Because I had 4 pins, like long pins, in my arm, with my holding my thumb and everything together. And man, I was just like, okay, I can't win off of sheer power. I've got to change the game up. I got to use some other tricks out of the bag. So I was trying to do the rainbow serve, and I think I got him once on that, and he literally said, "You ain't gonna get that weak shit by me again." I was just like, "Fuck it." I was trying my back ends.
How'd you get pins in your arm? You had an accident?
Road had a disagreement at 134 miles an hour.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
And I also had a fracture. I was wearing an air cast on, but I had my house
played racquetball.
Yeah, because I was so cocky. Like, I looked at the level of where I started and where Tom brought me, where Tom had to fight to shut me out, or at least I felt he did, to shut me out of a game. I was like, you're not shutting me out, because literally I didn't give a shit about the score. Our friends would come up there and watch and be like, "Oh, you're getting your ass whooped," but I'm not getting shut out. I got my 1 score in, or I think the most I could probably got was 7. Unless he was going easy on me.
When
he went easy, I would get up there.
When you meet somebody on the street, or you may know people, but they may have these talents that you don't know about. Like, you may know people that are that are secretly really good at racquetball, or good at DJing, or good at, handyman stuff, whatever you happen to be into, doing a 0-turn mower. But you may not know. And there's this, you kind of go into this mode of thinking you're good at something, and you rank yourself up high without knowing where that's why the first thing I asked you is, well, are you good? Like, because I'm not going to assume,
right?
Because I've played dudes that look like you, and I got my ass squashed. Zero.
Wow. What's that mean?
I've gotten 0.
They look like me.
Just guys that you don't expect, like older guys, Like, when we'd go to Barnes on base,
it's the Pike look.
There would be dudes old as shit.
My dad, that would be my dad. So continuing with this story. So what I found out is the dude was really good at handball. Because halfway through the game, he's like, "I ain't ever played this before." I was like, "I play handball, but I'm just using a racket. I've never used a racket before." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" At this time, I had been using bigger rackets to get more coverage, almost like a tennis racket. So it was the same size as Tom's.
That's what she said.
And then I think afterwards, I went back home. I went to Sierra Vista at sometime after. Totally fucked that whole night up. Went back to Sierra Vista, saw my dad, and he's like, "What are you looking for?" I was like, "I'm looking for your racquetball racket." So I was thinking about going up to Barnes Fieldhouse, and I'm like, "What is this?" He's like, "That's a racquetball racket," and it was 1/3 of the size of mine. Like,
that's
it looked like an
NBA in the 70s wearing shorts. Mm. That's what they used to do with racquetball rackets.
It was about the racket head was about this size.
It's like a ping pong paddle.
Yes. And I'm like, he was like, what are you going to play with? I was like, I have my racket. And he was like, are you playing tennis or racquetball? I'm like, I don't get it. So he went up there with me. And it was literally, like you said, a bunch of his old friends were up there and whatnot. He went in to talk with whoever. And he was like, go talk to that guy. I played golf with him. He plays racquetball. And I was like, I don't know if I want to step in here. I was like, I already fucked up my arm by playing this. So I was like, but I just want to, when I go into the court by myself when I'm waiting on Tom, I'll just hit the ball against the wall. And I slowly do this warm up to like get my movements and joints acclimated to moving. And he's like, that's a good warm up. He's like, but where's your racquetball racket? I was like, it's right here. I think I had my Nike one at that time. I was I brought two. I had my Nike one and I had the blue and yellow one that Mike eventually. Don't ever play racquetball with somebody who breaks shit, because I went through at least $300 worth of rackets because I loaned them to Mike, played him, beat him on some shit, and he would literally just slam the racket into the wall, and like it's game over at that point. So he was telling me that the smaller rackets allow you to get closer to the wall without sacrificing your judgment of how close you are to the wall, because you're basically going to almost hit it with your hand. Whereas with a racket, you have a foot and a half space. He was like, also that means when these corner drops, like Tom used to always do to me, when he drops it in that corner, you don't have enough space to get a full swing in to hit the wall, because your racket's going to hit the other wall first before you can actually get to the back
complicated.
wall. And I'm like, I get it. He said, let's play a couple and I'll show you. And he did the little drop shot that you used to do. He's like, now look at that. He's like, you're in the right position. You're going to try and backhand that into the back wall and have it come up. He's like, but I guarantee you're not going to hit that as hard as you want, because you're worried about smacking a racket against the sidewall first. That means you're going to hesitate. You're going to slow down. 90% of the time, that ball is going to bounce right past you, because you're looking at everything else other than where you need to hit. And he was like, I'll show you. He dropped it right there.
So,
and sure enough, I missed.
Are you saying you're saying you're against officers on the bridge doing different jobs then?
I'm saying you could be proficient.
Okay.
But expert level is unrealistic to expect everyone to be expert level on every position on the bridge.
But when you're I'm sorry, go ahead.
It just seems like they portray everyone that is on the bridge crew as experts in their position all the time. And no matter what position. You could take Jordy and put him on comms. You could put, I don't know, Worf and put him on the helms, because he did helm before. You know.
What do you think the hardest job on the bridge is? Helm?
Probably. Yeah.
Or
tactical?
Tactical. Shoot straight, you know.
No.
Well, that's when you're in a battle.
I don't even think tactical, because they use a lot of automated, pre-programmed, shots.
Like the helm, though, I think the helm would be stressful because, like think about when they destroy the Borg cube, and then the round sphere pops out, and Picard is like, pursuit course, engage. Like, you gotta quickly fucking pursuit course that shit.
I would think it'd be animated too, though. I don't know.
Automated?
Animated.
Animated.
Automated. From live action to animation.
Cartoon.
Bringing it lower down.
Automated.
Cartoon that shit.
You make one mistake.
Well, so that's the thing. And that's why I think helm is probably going to be the hardest, because you've got to calculate.
I just see him pushing buttons all over the. Like, just give me a joint. Give me a controller.
I could see even on Earth, where you have gravity and you're not moving in 3 dimensions, I could see that as it being difficult as it is, like in real life. Now you add space, and you're adding a 3rd dimension of travel, that you could do on a
What are
dime.
you talking about? You just said
Because
there's 3
on
dimensions on 2 dimensions
No,
on
3
Earth and 3 in space.
You go X and Y. You go lateral and vertical.
You got 3 dimensions.
You don't. That's 3. Sorry, 3 axes. Is it axes? 3 axes.
And then you have Data, he's really fast, and he's actually pressing buttons and everything at this really fast speed. Why is he not hardwired in? He would go a lot faster if he was hardwired.
He doesn't
in.
have Bluetooth.
Yeah, they don't.
He got-
they didn't
he got
pass.
Bluetooth
They didn't
to-
pass the-
He's not using optical.
Bluetooth to the ship's
The
computer.
FCC has not passed his Wi-Fi 6 regulation, so it doesn't pass that.
Right. You would think that Data wouldn't need to touch buttons.
Yeah,
He could just think it and it would just pursue course.
That's an issue that
But-
has to be addressed.
Hawkins.
But
That was
yeah.
his name. Hawkins.
Yeah, you have 2 axes when flying in the atmosphere. You have 3 when you're flying through space. So it's kind of like, what the fuck? I mean, and point of contact of, that's not a window that you're looking at either. So the front viewer is not a window.
It was.
It could be looking
On the really
45
old-
degrees.
Yeah.
like the pre-NX, I think.
But yeah, you had visual observation, so you could easily ditch somebody.
Yeah.
But in TNG and newer, that's just a monitor. So you could be flying technically orientated 45 degrees away from someone.
True.
And you're like, okay, I'm going over there. And in reality, you're nowhere near them.
Hey, what
What episode of DS9 are you on?
what did you
That's the
do?
question.
What did you do Star Trek related this week?
Damn it.
Oopsie.
I didn't watch any DS9 this week. I watched all Enterprise. Like 10
Powered through it?
episodes. Do I?
I veered off. I was 3D printing Star Trek stuff.
That's what you said last week.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, but
Yeah.
you did print some Star
3D
Trek
printing.
stuff. Here, show it in front of your face because our viewers can't see the wide shot. Oh, I guess we shouldn't have stuck it under the monitor. Oh, there you go.
I don't know if you can see it, but it turns different colors.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
PVG with his 3D printer.
And then
Now you need a 3D
Link in the
pencil,
description
though.
if you want to buy
oh
one.
look.
Link in the description if you want to buy one of those.
And what
You
else?
need to
No
3D
tariffs,
print
by the way.
that BB gun that I showed you.
I saw that. I
And
did
then-
find the file and
We
yeah.
got a pew pew.
So
Pew, pew.
that's what I was saying. If you could
Link
3D
in the
print a
description.
Phaser, you could take it apart and put the 3D printed BB gun inside the phaser.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then paint the bullets.
It's all fun and games. So somebody has an eye put out.
I wouldn't worry about that.
It could still be fun and games.
Oh, yeah.
The I
I
put
meant to
out
hit up Aaron
game.
about that.
Speaking of fun and games, Captain Lizardo is calling, and I think Guinan is calling too.
All right, you can go. I already warned Patty. I said
Wait, why is
PVG
Guinan
might-
calling?
PVG
Why is it
might
gotta
come
be
into the house.
Guinan?
because it's going to be broad daylight when you go outside right now, and the kids might still be sitting out there swimming. So
What
you
is a Guinan?
Going to 10 forward.
What is a Guinan?
He's going to get some drinks
Oh, okay. I thought Guinan
because
was...
we're almost done with our first three.
Gotcha. So, I apologize to our viewers. I'm munching on some peanuts here because I'm absolutely starving.
Hey, go in the house.
I don't think nobody's out here.
Oh, you should still go.
Is that all right?
Well, if you think it's safe, then go ahead on the tree.
All right.
Hey, do you feel like being registered? Is what you need to say. You need to
Well, if
tell me
I
about
hear
Quarter
screaming, then we'll know there's an issue. I don't think the kids are out there anymore.
Lot. Gotcha.
It was a little bit dark when he just opened the door. We can't tell in here because I have all the windows blacked out.
Right.
So there's absolutely no light that can come in from the outside in this garage.
It crept up to 100 yesterday.
I think we hit like 82 today.
Well, it was 89 earlier today. So yeah, I did DS9. I think I'm on. I gotta open my Chrome window to see where I'm on. I know I'm up there though.
Season 3?
No, I'm not on season 3 yet. I'm still on season 2.
Oh, okay.
But I think I'm well into it, or at least I feel like I'm well into it. Nope. Oh shit. Am I really? Hold on a second. That ain't right.
Because you fell asleep with Paramount Plus on.
I've done that several times, and I always go back and finish it. But oh no, I am on season 3. I'm on season 3, episode 9. I'm halfway through it. So, and this is one of the ones where the episode beforehand is where they come into a planet where
Yeah.
the planet phases in and out like every 60 years.
Oh.
And everybody is on the bridge doing stuff, and they had to switch around.
This is DS9?
Yeah. And they're flying the Defiant. And I'm like, how the fuck does he know or she know how to do that job? And they're going, and this is, I went back and kind of thought about these other episodes. And I'm like, they had to attack some shit, and so-and-so's not on.
Something weird's happening.
Wait, we're back.
Okay, maybe we're recovered now.
I don't think you lost internet because we stayed connected here.
Okay.
Oh, but my picture is way off.
The stream is still going. Okay, I just saw PVG sit back down. Something happened, and it looked like my upload was at 0.
Is my image blurry or clear from your side?
No, it's clear on. Well, what's weird is on Ninja it's clear, but on the
YouTube,
OBS it's blurry. Let me Oh no, now it's clear.
I did the refocus. I should probably move this and do a manual focus.
And just lock it.
Yeah, but I'm afraid that I move around too much.
Sherry. Crewman Sherry says blurry.
All right, now it's clear.
I think it's going to recover. Yeah, that was weird.
So yeah, that's why I asked about the whole everybody knows everything. Because on Defiant, like, how does Bashir know how to be a tactical officer? And he's a chief medical dude. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
What the fuck, Gary?
So you watched a lot of DS9, or how many episodes would you say you watched?
From season 1, episode 1?
No, I mean in the last week.
Season 1? It's only 9 episodes, or 8.5 episodes. I tried to do 2 episodes a night.
Yeah.
And then there were some nights that I just fell asleep. So here's the really cool thing. Unless it's a story arc about fucking Odo, I actually don't have to watch the screen. So a lot of times I'm
Why? Because Odo doesn't talk.
No, because a lot of Odo's shit is shape shifting.
Yeah.
Like if it's part of his shape shifting thing, it's like I don't. Plus, I don't really give a fuck about that anyway. So I could literally just kick back in the chair and put my little neck pillow up, and I will close my eyes, let my eyes rest from looking at a screen all day, and next thing you know, I'm listening to Star Trek going on in the background, and next thing you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like dead asleep. I'm like, fuck, I gotta get up.
Been there, done that.
So I pushed myself to only watch 2 episodes a day, because I know if I push into that 3rd episode, I'm probably gonna fall asleep, and then another 2 episodes are gonna play, and then yeah. So
Then you gotta figure out where you gotta figure out where you left off.
Yep. I'm always like, do I remember this? Do I remember that? Because I'm looking at them right now. I'm at the House of Quark. That was definitely one, because I was like, I don't remember that shit. Second Skin was another one where Kira gets turned into a Cardassian. I think I might have to go back and watch. Oh no, that's the one I'm on right now. Defiant. That's the one where Thomas Riker comes back and steals the Defiant.
Thomas Riker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I watched 6 episodes of Enterprise this week.
What season are you in?
I'm pretty sure I'm in season 3.
Okay.
But it could be season 2. I don't have the numbers here, but let me tell you some of the episodes I watched, because I took some notes so that I could remember it. Because if you watch too much and you don't take notes, you'll forget you even watched it.
All right, hold on. Let me get to Enterprise.
Yeah, get to Enterprise. Probably season 2 or 3. There's an episode called The Exile, and I called it the Beauty and the Beast episode, where this beast wants Hoshi on his planet with him. He lives on a planet alone. He's a telepath.
Oh, yep, I know that one.
And
I think that's up to season 3.
Okay, yeah, so I call it the Beauty and the Beast. But so I guess he can take something and use his telepathic abilities and see, like when he touches it, his mind can see the history of it. So he touches the Xindi weapon, the rubble that they found on Earth when that Xindi weapon attacked. And I guess he gives them like a clue of where to go next to figure it out. But he wants Hoshi to stay with him. And
that episode reminded me of the OG with Trelane. You know, he kind of wanted companionship, you know, and he was...
There's a lot of somebody made a compilation video, and they've mentioned on a couple of the other podcasts that I watch, and little shorts that come up on my YouTube and my Instagram. All Star Treks are is a rehash of the OG. All the stories are the exact same. Like, they're like, if you go, and somebody needs to do it, and if you take TNG or DS9, it can be like every episode that is done there, you can trace it back to the original series or where it originally came from. You know, a lot of them go back to TOS, and now a lot of the newer series, like even Enterprise and Voyager, go back to TOS and TNG. And it's like, man, are they not getting paid enough to come up with original stories?
Right.
Or is it like Legion M, where you just need to be like, hey, we're going to do a crowdsourced production of all fans. You guys donate, and then you control what is written, what movies get produced, what shows get produced, because all done by fans. Because, I mean, shit, you've got 12 different IPs and you can't come up with an original story?
Have you watched the fan series Star Trek with, I think, Magnoga? I can't think of his last name.
McNuggets?
Yeah, McNuggets.
So I have not watched any of the fan base, and there's a lot.
Yeah.
And I know I even have a couple saved.
I mean, some of it looks really good.
They start off with their series from the last episode of the OG.
Okay.
And it's a continuation from that.
I know. It's Star Trek continuation.
Yeah, and it's, they got new storylines and everything, and it's pretty good. And you would think they recreated the interior of the ship, and you would think, oh, this is at Desilu Studios. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, so that was the Beauty and the Beast. Then I watched the next episode is called The Shipment, which is they find this planet where I guess the Beauty and the Beast guy, the Beast, tells them to go to this planet where they make chemical, I think it's called chemosite. I didn't write that down. But that's used in the Xindi weapon. They put the tracker in the shipment. And then they also convince the guy who makes it. He's like, man, I didn't know that my chemical was being used to kill millions of people. And so I think what he does is he makes a bad batch. What up, IB?
Axonar. Yeah.
Axonar.
Axonar is pretty good too.
I haven't watched any of them yet. I mean, I have a lot of
Mgyx.
them saved, but I haven't watched any of them.
That was called The Shipment. Twilight is time parasites infect Archer's brain.
Wait.
Okay.
Hold on. Before we go to that, we got to go back to Shipment.
Okay, with the chemocyte?
Yes. That was one of the good episodes, I think, of Enterprise.
Yeah,
Because-
I didn't have any complaints with it. Actually, there's a little stretch here of okay episodes. There is one bad one I watched this week, really bad, and I'm going to get into it.
So my thing with it is, why did they not go in
New York.
Yeah, remember
further
IBs
on-
and
Yeah,
NYC.
that's right.
further on the fifth race or fourth race of Zindi? The
Reptilians?
no, the reptilians are still there.
Yeah.
The bird people,
Oh. Birdman.
because they say there's the reptilians, there's the apes, there's the bug, and then the planet where they met on was the avians. Thank you, IB.
IB.
Is the
boy.
He is
avian
on it.
avian planet, but they don't really.
IB
and they were like,
could be Gene Roddenberry.
Could be.
how would that even
Time
why
travel.
Would you,
Time travel. Yeah.
okay.
Or
Anyway.
or he's a giant clone.
Oh nuts.
IB, I'm glad you're with us.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that they didn't get into the avians. Like, yo, you're out there to explore shit, and they're literally telling you, hey, this one species, this one race of this species is completely dead, and they don't know why. And it's like, why didn't you delve into that a little bit more? Even after all the shit's been done, they could have gone back and be like, yo, the avians were the top of the Zindi races. Like, they were the most technological. They were the most further ahead. Why did they not delve into that species a little more? Right. I've always been upset about that.
All right, but let's get to the next episode. It's called Twilight. And basically,
it's not about vampires.
Well, Archer gets infected with a time parasite. Now, this right here, I think up until now, this to me, and I'm kind of weird, this was the best Enterprise episode I had seen yet. Basically, what happens is it goes into the future where Earth is destroyed and T'Pol is taking care of Archer. It's like a 51st Dates episode. Every day when Archer wakes up, he has no memory.
Yep. And
because of this parasite.
They landed the Enterprise on the planet. And they built a colony around it, and other people started joining.
And the Zindi had destroyed Earth. Yeah. They destroyed all the Earth colonies they could find. Any human colony, Zindi's destroyed it.
That would have been a great break-off point for like a Kelvin timeline break-off point.
Yep.
Of doing that, like, okay, what if Archer? Because I think he had to choose one reality or the other at the end. What happens if Archer had chosen to live in the reality where he was losing his mind every day, and have the Starfleet and Federation rebuild from there? No.
So, because I just watched it, it's very fresh. So what happens is years later, like 15 years later, Phlox finds a way to cure him. And what they find is, what they have to do is they have to go onto the Enterprise, and then they do some type of, they need a lot of power, but they focus this energy to destroy the parasites. Well, what happens is they test it. First, they destroy a small sample of the parasites in his brain. And what T'Pol notices, or Phlox notices, is when they destroy the parasite and they look at his brain scan from like 10 years ago, it's not there either. The same one they destroyed today is gone in a brain scan from 10 years ago. So then when they destroy the next batch, there's more, parasites gone from the old scans. So then they come to this theory like, you know what? If we destroy all these parasites, none of this would ever happen because Archer would never be taken out of the captain's chair, and like bad decisions would be undone. I guess when T'Pol or someone has to take over when Archer starts to lose his mind. And so that's basically how they, Phlox cures him of all of the, and I think at the same time, Enterprise is about to be destroyed, but they're in engineering killing these parasites. And, at the very last second, they kill the last parasite and boom, they just go right back to the first day it ever happened. And he's completely healed. But that episode reminded me in a way of like All Good Things.
I was about to say that is straight up All Good Things.
Yeah. Where you have a problem in the future, you solve it in the future and you go back to the past, because everything is now fixed and you go back to the past and everything's normal, So it was a good episode. IB says, have you ever seen the uncut pilot, The Cage? There's a bird creature, Birdman. I heard it said that it's a Xindi avian, the last one flying over Zindus in a Telosian illusion.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. I don't know. Where would we see the uncut version? Is that on like a DVD? It's not on Paramount, is it?
Yeah, Paramount I think has it.
In that first episode?
Yes, SETI Alpha 5. Yeah, that was so I think Twilight, again, was one of, up until this point, I think it's the best episode I've seen. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's on Paramount.
Okay, then I've probably seen it. It's just been a while. The Cage, The Cage is episode 1, right? It's the pilot.
Yeah, the OG.
Right.
Okay, so it's been a while. I'll have to look for that.
What is the worst one? I know you're good. You said
okay.
Or first, are there any others, or is the worst one the next one you have? Because you said there was a really bad one that you watched.
Well, let me go in order. So the next episode after Twilight is called North Star. A race called the Gagarin stole humans from Earth. Oh, this one was, I don't know. I think this was a filler episode.
Is this the Western one where they find a planet? Okay,
yeah, it's kind of a filler. Then there's one called Similitude. Tucker is seriously injured. Oh, and they have to create his baby clone.
Oh,
that was kind of messed up. Yeah. This was a good episode where they create. Phlox has some way to create a clone of.
Remember how I told you it's gonna get better. These are the areas where it starts getting better.
I guess. Yeah, you're right. All right, I was gonna say, well, no thanks to Archer, but I won't say anything, and it is getting better. I mean, finally.
This one was a really good episode.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of moral dilemma here.
A lot of people say, Mira, I asked before, hey, what Star Trek episode really tugged at your heartstrings or made you tear up or whatever? A lot of people go to Khan or the Death of Spock. This is one of those episodes where people are like, that is so fucked up because you bred him. And this is kind of like what is the alter carbon?
Yep.
You built a skin. He has all the memories of you, grows up as you, starts falling for the same chick as you, living your life, and then you put him down. And it's like, and he's aware of it too. Like, what the fuck?
T'Pol should have let him hit.
I mean, I don't remember if they're already banging or not. I don't think they are yet.
No, they weren't. I think the mistake the doctor made was the doctor probably should have just put him in a coma.
Who? The real Trip or
no, the baby. Right. That way he would never grow any attachments and they would never be sad.
Gotcha. Thank you, IB. I was going to say North Star is very much like the 37s, which is very much like the episode with the Native American Indians and TOS, as well as the ones in Voyager. And I wonder if all of these tie in together. Because, again, how would you get Americans?
What about that episode of Discovery where they find that human civilization way out in the middle of nowhere?
That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if these are all tied together. And that would be like, so that new series I was talking about, that if I had the ability to make it, would discover and flesh out some of these storylines.
Wait, what were you going to call it?
Star Trek Legacies.
Oh, you're talking about those people. Okay.
Yeah, it would be 7 of 9. It would be 7 of 9s. Would be the captain, Jack Crusher. Everybody's kids would be there. And they would start back and like, okay, let's go back and let's go back to the Delta Quadrant, basically. Let's flesh out where the Borg came from, how they originated. Because they're still out there. There's still some that are out there. And they could still build a queen. And like I said, in the midst of doing that, you could track down, hey, on the way there, look for these colonies or whatever got set out. The burn happened. None of these people are here anymore, or they never knew it. Let's bring them all home. And hey, you know what? We had this Captain Kirk came across this planet, and it's on their way out to the Delta Quadrant. And the whole colonies, check up on them. How are they doing now? Did they evolve? Are they in space traveling? Because that would literally mean a second human colony that has achieved space travel. And does that mean that you have to make first contact again? Because you technically, they were already part of your colony. And that would fall into North Star and the 37s and the one from Voyager.
That just made me think of a scenario. Could they transport giant Spock as a little person onto Enterprise?
Could they transport giant Spock and then convert him, shrink him
to a normal sized person?
To a normal sized person.
You would think.
Like, could they mix the buffer pattern with giant Spock and use the buffer history
of little Spock
of regular Spock,
and then slowly pattern them down? That would mean that we have.
Then that means they could do the opposite and make people big.
That means that at some point in time, there would be 3 Spocks in the same universe.
Oh, all right. Let me get to the episode that really bothered me. And this is the whole thing with Archer and Enterprise that bothers me every
Wait, does it involve time travel?
No. It involves trusting somebody.
I'm trying to pick it. I'm trying to pick it from the list here. I think I know which one it is.
All right, so there's an episode on Enterprise after, in this whole Xindi timeline called Chosen Realm.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be
so you basically have this race of people who think that the spheres are they're like religious fanatics. And they're at war with another species on their planet who thinks so I guess the whole premise of their war is one of the species, one of the factions, maybe they're the same species, one of the factions thinks that the spheres were created in 9 days. The other faction thinks they were created in 10 days. So they've been at war for centuries over this one day of battle.
An OG Roddenberry plot right there.
So here's what happens. They see the Enterprise leaving the spheres. These spheres are in this hidden, like, plane or whatever. Like they go into like some kind of a vortex, right? So they see the Enterprise is coming out of the vortex. So they act like their ship is disabled and losing life support. And guess what Archer does? We'll help you. Let's bring everybody aboard. Oh, you guys are refusing body scans for religious reasons. So they don't want to be scanned. Yes. They're not letting Phlox scan them because of religious reasons, but really it's because they have little detonators inside their bodies. And they do kill one person on Enterprise when one of their people, because no one believes them. They're like, you're going to give us control of this ship or one of our people are going to explode themselves.
By the way, IB says that Chosen Realm was the equivalent to let this be your last battlefield. From TOS, it's where the two colored people, he doesn't mean black folks. He means the people that are white on one side and black on the other. From the TOS episode.
Yeah, so when Archer trusts these people, especially when you're in the Expanse, like, how do you trust anybody in the Expanse? Like, this is like the Wild West. When
you've already got yourself fucked up so many times in the Expanse. This is where I'm going to be honest with you. Consider a spoiler. This, even though the episodes get better, this is where I start to get really, really annoyed with Archer until it finally smacks him in the face. Whereas, like, I don't give a fuck.
Like a big fat schlong.
Well, because at this point, I had given him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, you did.
But then now it's to a point of annoyance. Like, I think I remember some of these where I was just fast forwarding through Archer's dialogue. But there is one that comes up that really kind of pushes it. How far did you get into season 3, or is that Is that as far as you got?
I think. Well, no, I was just watching the next episode, and I hadn't gotten through it. But it's called Harbinger.
So the one before that.
No, Chosen Realm.
Harbinger. That one, the one before is called Stratagem.
Oh,
that's where he fakes. He's faking being a captive. The acting in that one is
yes. They have the Xindi.
cheesy.
They have the Xindi guy who created the weapon.
Right.
That was. I felt like that episode was so worthless. I didn't even write it down. I didn't even put it in my notes.
No, but you got to, and it's like, dude, become so obvious that you're prying for information. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck, dude? Come on.
Yeah, they would be terrible undercover cops. Harbinger. No, it's not called Harbinger of Chaos. It's just Harbinger. Harbinger of Chaos. Is that like a verse from Matthew? I don't know. My bad. Okay, so Harbinger, even though I've only watched half, I'm liking Harbinger because it's the one where
it was a joke.
Trip starts giving back rubs to Amanda Cole from the Mako.
Oh, yeah.
And T'Pol is getting very jealous. And Phlox pours the gasoline on that fire. I think Phlox did all that shit on purpose.
Yeah.
I think Phlox said, you know what? I'm going to mess with these people. I'm going to tell T'Pol that Trip is giving back rubs to Amanda Cole.
Stirred a pot.
Giving her the Vulcan back rub.
I think it was because he didn't necessarily come out and say. He said, well, she was being seen in here because of the injury due to the Vulcan back rub. And maybe you should, rectify that or teach your student better. And that's what I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not giving that bitch no rubs. Like, yeah, that's straight up BET.
Phlox, that's a HIPAA violation right there. Come on, Phlox. You can't be telling people their business.
But hey, to Phlox's consideration, even though I don't really like him that much as a character, but I like him more than I like Tuvix or or Neelix. I mean, granted, he's in an open relationship. He's got 7 wives. They got 7 husbands. So to him,
and he was like, "Hey, Trip, do you want to bang my wife?"
Right. You know, I got a pineapple on the door. I'm like, "What's up? What's up?"
Fascinating.
The Love Boat. Oh, hold on. Let me get my PowerPoint up. We're getting late into the day.
But like Magic
So
was saying,
that was as far as you got as Harbinger, though.
Yeah, and I'm not done with that, but that seems to be a good episode because there's also now this battle between Malcolm and Major Hayes about who's teaching.
Oh, yeah.
And Malcolm's getting really pissed.
like Magic was saying, that Enterprise gets better. They brought Manny Cotto in, and he did a great job, you know, bringing it back. And it was just getting better and better. And then it was gone.
Hey, this is episode 16. That means we've been doing this for 16 weeks. That's pretty crazy.
Who knew? I certainly didn't. I mean, compared to you two.
I mean, well, you jumped in at what, episode 3?
Yeah, something like that. But
You jumped in early on. What's 16 weeks? 4 months?
We got at least 2 followers that stay with us here.
Yeah.
Crewman Cherry and IB.
Well, you know what's
Yes.
weird about our views is a lot of our views come after the fact.
By the way, IB, yes, you're right. E2 was good.
Yes.
A derivation of DS9 where they meet the Defiant crew. I like any of the shows like that because Voyager technically has kind of one. It's not all that great. They kind of cheese it out. DS9 has one. Enterprise has one as well. I would have loved to have seen one in TNG, but I think, honestly, you know, after the fact, I think TNG is too stick in the mud or stick up the butt. They're too anal retentive to explore things like that.
Come on now.
But regardless, okay, let's go.
News updates. There's an article on Screen Rant if you want to know all the main characters confirmed for season 3. I picked out a couple of outside of the main crew, because I think all the main cast is coming back, but these are kind of some new people, right? And so this unknown character played by Rhys Darby, people think that that's going to be Trelane or a Q variant, like some type of a Q. Because he's about to snap his fingers. Patton Oswalt. Everybody knows Patton Oswalt. He's going to be some Vulcan guy. I guess he could be a Romulan, huh?
Is he the one that does a roast? No.
Maybe. He's in I don't know what he's in. And then Roger Corby. He was in a few... His character was in like some OG episodes.
He's the robots.
Yes.
He's the robot girls.
An episode OG Stargate universe had a time travel meet your descendant story
That
too.
is a show they need to bring back. Don't get me started on Stargate. And definitely don't get me started on the reboot they're doing because
Holy cow, it is.
Dr. Roger Corby, yeah, that's the robot chicks. Dude, why does this girl got so many teeth?
All right. Oh, what little girls are made of.
Yeah.
So when I see stuff like this, like when I see the weird nose ring bar horseshoe thing, I always worry about the type of person that is. I'm like, oh man, not one of these with the nose horseshoe. Because they're going to be on some weird shit.
Whether it's a horseshoe or anything in their nose, it looks painful. To me personally, it's just not attractive. But
it's not attractive at all. It's actually, I think it's ugly. I mean, I'm sorry if you got one, maybe it looks better on you, but in general, I just don't see what the appeal is to putting a horseshoe in your nostrils.
to each his own. Here,
There you go.
You know what? Go with it. Here I'm sitting in this uniform. I'm thinking she can't be.
Yeah,
as
but
much
you can
nuts.
take you. Well, you know what? The uniform is fine. Horseshoe in your nose, I'm not down with it. But anyways, basically what they do this long interview. You can catch it all on trekmovie.com. But these are two of the castmates from Star Trek Academy. Starfleet Academy, my bad. It's not a YA show. I still didn't figure out what YA means.
Young adult.
Young adult.
I.e.,
I think it probably is.
The later years of 90210.
It's a YA show for sure. Shit is all YA.
Well, maybe they're
I mean, she says it's hormonal because we're young and figuring it out. That means it's young adults.
It's aimed at a younger audience.
Yeah, so the fact that you said that it's hormonal, that means it is a young adult show. And you're just saying it's not a YA because you don't want to be considered a YA when you are a YA. So, yeah, that's one of those take your mouth full of teeth and close it.
IB says, I agree about nose rings. They look uncomfortable. Exactly. I mean, what about, I don't know. I don't have a nose ring. I have no idea. But what if you got stick a Q-tip up there and he gets caught, there's an infection.
First of all, why are you sticking a Q-tip up your nose?
What the hell are you doing,
clean it out, baby.
Come on, man.
No, that is not how you
You're
clean
giving
up
away
your
too many
nose,
secrets.
dude. This is, oh, man.
All right, let's play some Guess Who. All right, we got IB, we got Crewman Sherry. Let's talk Guess Who.
Hey, it's for the chick, Dr. Corby's girl, because she's literally wearing the same uniform.
It's a perfect segue. Right. Hey, Tyson
Is this
Strasberg.
show associated with Dave Hildebrands, Dave Prime?
No.
Negative.
Oh, no.
We are not.
I searched for it. I didn't find no other technically tracks.
I know who. There is I think another podcast, Technically Trek.
Oh, there better not be. I'm going to go and find that.
Not as good as ours.
All right.
I don't know the girl's name,
And
but
I didn't either. I didn't bother looking up her name, but she was from What Little Girls Are Made Of. Oh, Jackson. Sherry Jackson.
Jackson.
Oh, Jackson. It's a typo. I was trying to read it. Yes, Andrea. She's the android.
okay.
Guess who is missing?
Worf.
Yeah, what's up with that? Yeah.
Wait, first of all, that is
Worf.
one.
Who spelled that?
Who? What the man?
Worf. Worf.
All right, next.
You're right. It's not Worf. It is Worf. What? Look at his forehead. Look at his skull.
This was like season 1, wasn't it?
Syndrome.
No, it had to be like season 3.
Damage.
Yeah,
All right, guess who's missing?
The majority of
Part of
Dr.
Bones.
McCoy, but Sulu.
Uhura.
And Uhura.
Yeah.
Uhura.
Oh, so Sulu gets nothing?
No love for the community.
That's fucked up.
My.
Guess who's missing?
T'Pol.
The ball.
That was an easy one. T-Paul. She was busy on auto-tune.
Nurse Chapel. No. It's what's his face's daughter, the admiral's daughter.
Yeah. On the Kelvin, what's her name?
Well, you could tell it's Kelvin because it got a blue damn light streak. JJ
Dr.
Abrams.
Marcus. Dr. Marcus.
Yeah,
Carol
there you go.
Marcus.
Carol Marcus.
Alice Eve. All right, one more.
She needs a spanking.
Oh, shit. Never
Who said
mind.
that?
That was the last one. All right, let's do a quote. Everybody get ready. Here we go.
You see, gentlemen, behind every great man there is a woman urging him on. And so it was with my Stella. She urged me on into outer space, not that she meant to, but with her continual, eternal, confounded nagging.
Oh, can we do that again?
Who said that?
I'm
One
trying.
more time.
You see, gentlemen, behind every great
Oh,
man there is
IB.
a woman
Yeah.
urging him on. And so it was with my Stella. She
Oh,
urged
that's
me
right.
on into outer space,
Yes.
not that she meant to, but with her continual, eternal, confounded nagging.
Stella was the giveaway.
Good job, IB.
Trying to get to
I
the
be
next
the man
slide.
in the chair.
Yes.
You see,
Hold on. I can't. Can
Where'd you
Google-
get that disco shirt? Me?
You see, gentlemen, behind every great man there is a woman urging him on. And so it was with my Stella. She urged me on into outer space, not that she meant to.
I gotta
Was
keep
that
them. I
magic?
gotta keep them under 10 seconds
Was that
because we
magic
got
saying-
copyright. Hey, what are you pouring?
He's froze. Magic?
And you see, wait, what?
Did you say hardcore?
Oh yeah, I
the Wizard
did.
of Oz.
That was good.
Hardcore.
It's just how sounded
You see,
just like
gentlemen,
her.
I gotta get to the next slide.
You see, gentlemen, behind every great man.
All right, ready for the next quote?
She was a beauty.
Okay, everybody ready? Here we go.
genius doesn't work on an assembly line basis. Did Einstein, Kazanga, or Sitar of Vulcan produce new and revolutionary theories on a regular schedule? You can't simply say, today I will be brilliant.
Who said that?
Spock from New Spock. Not Calvin Spock, but
You're talking about
SNW
Ethan
Spock.
Peck?
Strange New World Spock.
No, IB
gonna go
says
with
it's
it.
Daystrom.
Daystrom.
Oh, well, shit. I don't know. I'm taking a guess, man. I
Let's
don't know
go. Let
what.
me play one more.
Genius doesn't work on an assembly line basis. Did Einstein, Kazanga, or Sitar of Vulcan produce new and revolutionary theories on a regular schedule? You can't simply say, today I will be brilliant. Genius doesn't work on a
Hold on. Google Slides. Oh, it's not responsive. Okay. So we got, who'd you guess?
I would say Spock. What do you think, Pat?
I said
Which
SNW
Spock, though?
Spock.
He's saying Discovery, Strange New World, Timeline, Spock.
I'm going SNW
OG.
Spock.
OG Spock?
For
And
one of the movies.
IB says Daystrom. You ready for the answer?
Sure. What do you think, Crewman Sherry?
She don't know.
But genius doesn't work on an assembly line basis.
Oh, shit.
The
Even
Einstein,
Spock.
Oh, gee, Kirk.
Kazanga, or Sitar of Vulcan produce new and revolutionary theories on a regular schedule. You can't simply say, today I will be brilliant.
There it is. Probably got me copyrighted, but that was worth it.
All right. I'm gonna say
Genius doesn't work on an assembly line.
I'm gonna propose this.
The Einstein,
For the next two shows, we can only quote new Star Trek people.
What do you mean new? Like no OG?
So they answer
No
it?
OG.
All right. Well, that works
No,
out
because-
because I think all the quotes that I had done are all newer, not OG.
Because all the Guess Who's and everything are all like OGs. We need to do the newer treks so that people who haven't watched the OG have a chance
Listen,
to.
then they need to step up their OG game.
Don't do it. I haven't finished it either.
damage.
Because I'm seriously contemplating. And the algorithm knows this because I've been getting the same prompt in MSN's homepage or Edge's homepage. Episodes of the original series that you could absolutely skip. And I'm straight up looking like, how many episodes from season 3 can I just skip? And now I
Hey,
have to actually
keep
watch.
talking. I got to go see why the dogs are barking. Hold on.
Okay.
I think Jimmy fell in a well.
Right?
That was a quote
PBG,
from
have you
last
watched the entire original season?
I have. Numerous times.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you made it that far?
Yeah, that's what I grew up with.
Were you in prison or something? And like that was the only thing
pretty
available?
much. I'm just older than you. A little bit. Maybe
I don't
20
think you're that
years.
much older.
Uh,
Okay, that is pretty significant.
Nah,
So you're about
maybe-
you would be probably around what my brother would be around right this time. What about the new shows? Are you catching up on the new shows at all, or
I'm caught up with Strange New Worlds. Discovery, yeah, I've watched it all. Deep Space Nine, I need to rewatch it because I've forgotten a lot of it. I'm old and senile, and Voyager, I'm catching up on that too.
So, I know I've said I hate Cisco acting and the way he acts. He does a lot of Kirkus things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the parts that I hate because he also does a lot of Hawk things that I'm like, that's the Avery that I remember. You know, when he's dealing with Gal Dukat,
Right.
or, things like that, where he's like, all right, it's time to put up or show up. Those things I can deal with his acting. It's the other times where he's like trying to be Joel Bell in a joking mode, and it's like, dude, that's not you. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, you don't know where he's going. What who is this? Who is this? Which Cisco is this for today?
Right. And I really remember now the biggest reason why I think I stopped watching the show is Kai Wynn. Every time she comes on the scene, I want to either chop her in the throat or this is Sparta her
Good
off
throat
the
punch.
second floor of the what do they call it in the middle of the
Promenade.
DS9. Yes, I want to kick her. I want to this is Sparta her off the second story of the promenade.
Might not be enough.
She is so annoying. And I know she has some story. It's just everything building up to it is like, why don't you motherfuckers just chop her in the throat? Like, fuck, y'all got all these ships that got transporters. Just pay somebody off and have like a cargo ship, transport her to the cargo ship, but don't materialize her.
Open that airlock.
No. Here's the thing. This is the perfect crime in the Star Trek universe. Literally pull in, transport somebody up, and never rematerialize them.
And delete.
Delete the buffer.
Pope.
Because there's no physical evidence of the person there. They can pull a trace of, if they know that the person was there, they can pull a trace of a transporter. But if you're going through basically a space truck stop, you could literally be like, all right, here are the coordinates of this person, or put like a little beacon on them, transport them away, and no one will ever know unless you transport it in front of people. And even if they did, okay, so what? One or two people saw her get transported away. They don't know who did it. And then all you do is you don't rematerialize her anywhere. You keep her in the buffer. You sit out, kick it at DS9 for maybe a couple of days, do your normal thing. Be like, all right, well, we need to get this load going off to another planet. So, all right, cool, thanks. See you on the round trip back. And then you leave. And you either keep on trucking and you don't come back, or you just leave and never come back. But you can literally just abduct somebody. And no one ever does. I don't understand it. You can scan for somebody's DNA. Just abduct her ass. First of all, she's walking around looking like a head, like basically a clit. Because that whole hood thing that they wear, they look like a clit pulled back. So,
No.
The velvet taco. All right. Question. Which species is responsible for creating the Dyson sphere?
The Asians.
The Asians.
Right on.
I mean, you should have spelled it Thysians.
Oh, I'm saying something different.
Asians.
Asians. My bad.
It's the Scudians. In the episode, and that white box is back, that rectangle. They don't know who built it, but later it was identified as the Scudians.
I know what it is.
What?
You have a Star Trek logo. You have a delta on the bottom right hand corner.
A what?
Look at the feed and that's what's producing that square, that white square. You have a delta in the bottom of it.
I don't see it. I'm looking in OBS and I don't see it.
Look at the YouTube feed.
No, the YouTube feed, that's added by YouTube. This black, this white rectangle on the far end of the slide, like if I go up, it's coming from Canva. That's the problem. None of the other slides are made by Canva. Like if I go page up, like this slide is not made by Canva. These slides are imported. Canva exports them, and then I import them into Google Slides. And for some reason, Google Slides cannot handle these slides that Canva makes. So I don't know what the deal is with Canva export and then Google Slide import. But it adds this white rectangle. What item does Captain Sisko use to convince the prophets to allow his presence in the celestial temple? Magic's, I don't know this. He just watched it.
Tears of the Prophets.
Oh, C.
You're going C? Yeah. The Bajoran tablet.
I don't remember watching that.
In DS9, The Reckoning, the Bajoran tablet plays a key role in Sisko's relationship with the prophets.
Hold on. We need to see what episode that is and if I should have already watched it.
Which ship did Admiral Janeway use to alter the past in order to help the Voyager crew return faster?
What?
Which ship did she go back in time with when she was an admiral?
Oh, Dauntless.
What do you think, IB? What do you think, Crewman Sherry?
They think Dauntless.
What was the name of that episode from DS9 you just mentioned?
Endgame.
That is not Endgame.
Oh, DS9? Jeez.
Yeah, the question you just had a minute ago.
The Reckoning.
What season is that from?
IB says Dauntless. I don't know. You're in there. You're in Paramount Plus.
I am. That's what I'm looking at. I don't
Which
see it.
celestial phenomenon disables warp drive across large areas in TNG's Force of Nature?
The burn.
Let's say C. Subspace rupture.
LOFI?
I'm going to say the
Subspace.
Hecaron corridor.
Well, it's subspace rupture. You could have waited 1 second and I would have shown the answer. A subspace rupture is found to be caused by excessive warp travel.
Yep.
That's why they put that warp speed limit in, right?
No, that's all falsehood,
Yeah.
which we later find out from Lower Decks.
Which is,
It's
that was
completely
like some
bullshit.
activists, some environmental activists saying that warp, going too fast with warp is bad for subspace.
Nope, that's a regular episode. It was literally one of the... That's why I said the Hurricane Corridor. It's a weird species who basically wanted to plant a lie and put a whole bunch of supporting information and basically start the rumor to see how far it would spread and how the rest of the galaxy would react. And so in Lower Decks, they reveal it was all bullshit. They just want to see how far this lie would continue and if anyone else would do the research to actually say, oh, this is affecting us. Because to that point, they're just like, yeah, every time we're doing this, it's causing this problem. So-and-so did the research on it. No one ever went back and checked so-and-so's work at all.
Sounds like COVID.
They just took it.
What name is given to the neural interface used by Section 31 agents?
I'm going to go with the Neuro Bridge.
I would, yeah. C. IB.
That sounds good.
Pat's K88.
It's control node.
What?
I don't know, but this is ChatGPT, so there could be some debate here. In the episode Discovery Through the Valley of Shadows, What was the name of the Vulcan fusion technique used by Tuvok to calm Neelix's anxiety?
And transporter accident.
Rectal alignment. He gonna align his rectal.
Oh my.
It was a transporter accident when they merged together.
I want to say A. I want to say A.
Solon meditation. It was nothing like T'Pol and Trip doing foot rubs.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't do the
That's
true.
what you want to call it.
Footy rubs. What time travel device is found in a cave by Captain Archer in Shockwave Part 2? I don't think I've gotten this
Chrono
far.
trigger.
I would say B.
I'm just saying.
Archer finds a hidden Suliban transmitter used for time travel. I haven't gotten this far yet. What engineering term refers to a fail-safe shutdown process on Starfleet vessels?
Intermix abort.
Oh, IB has never seen Section 31. Well, you're one of the lucky
Oh, my
ones.
gosh.
Right.
I actually didn't see all of it. I think I fell asleep through the middle hour of it. So I saw 15 minutes at the beginning, 15 minutes at the end, and the whole hour in the middle I did not see.
Wouldn't
I
the
mean,
answer-
they've made drinking games out of it. I made one myself. It is you take a shot every time you think or say, this is some old bullshit. Every time you come across a moment where you think or say that, you got to take a drink.
The answer to the last one shouldn't have been warp core dump.
No, intermix abort.
That's what I said.
Well, PBG's challenging.
Warp core dump. Dump that warp core.
Maybe that's
Like
a
emergency,
possible
I guess.
answer. I think some of these could have multiple answers. ChatGPT is just not good at that. What rare element powers the Romulan cloaking device? Put on your Romulan hat.
I think it's trilithium that produces Thalaron radiation.
I say C, Verterium.
Verterium.
Verta.
In TNG episode The Pegasus.
I was just working with that the other day.
What is the term for consciousness transferring ritual of the Trill symbiont species?
Olmatak.
Let's just put a bunch of apostrophes in some syllables. Jantara.
That's my next guess.
DS9 episode Facets. Have you gotten to that one yet?
I don't. Wait, what season is that?
I don't know. The ChatGPT doesn't say.
Oh, yeah. Don't know. I'm still looking for the other one.
Here's another DS9. Which Bajoran faction opposed Federation presence in DS9's early episodes?
The Vedic Assembly.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the Circle. Episode
Well,
The
they
Homecoming.
opposed everyone, though.
Sure sounded good.
Yes, the Section 31 movie will ruin
Big time.
Section 31 for you.
You got that right, IP.
You're good not to watch it. What type of particle was central to the development of the Genesis device?
Protomatter.
A, theta radiation.
Protomatter it is. It was an unstable element. Who designed the Defiant class prototype?
Callum Ventrell.
He was an Irishman. That's it. That was misleading. I shouldn't have said that.
I almost Ben.
Commander Cisco helped design it. He probably helped Callum Ventrell and Miles O'Brien. They probably all sat in a room together.
None of them did.
Oh yeah, because that was the Sao Paulo.
I'll tell you what, the
because
Defiant.
I just watched it where they got the Defiant.
And they just dropped it.
left
It was
to
like
go get it.
Timu dropped it off.
He left to go get it and came back. It was like, I'm trying this to see what our new ship does.
Well,
He
maybe
didn't help
just-
design any of it.
Defiant's one little badass.
What organization created the holographic doctor aboard Voyager?
What?
Who
Starfleet
created
Medical.
the EMH?
Hey,
You're going Starfleet Medical? What are
Yeah.
you going?
Oh,
Daystrom? You chewing?
that was me drinking.
Did Magix give an answer?
Not yet.
yeah, it says Starfleet Medical. Can you not hear me?
Oh, it was Jupiter Station. Dr. Zimmerman, who is the EMH, right? I think we've talked about him before. What does the acronym M5 refer to in the episode The Ultimate Computer?
Multi-logic 5.
Muds 5 bitches.
It's either A or B, not C.
Multi-logic 5. Good guess. Oh, Uptopia. Yes. What galaxy is home to species 8472?
Fluidic space.
That's what I gotta do right.
Hey, guy.
Pretty
Fluidic
close.
space, guy. Guy.
Hey,
Yes, Kirk unit.
Species 8472 lives in a separate realm called fluidic space, as introduced in Voyager episode Scorpion.
You know, Kirk unit, to improve your Kirk, you should put your misabled labels
Which
with your Kirkisms.
alien
Hey, will you
race
become truly Kirk?
manipulated Voyager's crew using implanted memories?
see, I have to go see Dr. Lazardo.
Mari.
IB says the Mare, but IB might be a question behind because of our network issues. It's the
I'm going-
Enarans.
Oh,
In Voyager
man.
episode Remember, Bolana receives disturbing visions from an Enaran with telepathic memory transfer. End transmission. Let's wrap up this PowerPoint. Man, we are running way over. We're running way over. We got
So you didn't watch it. So what where are you at in your DS9 venture?
I'm still season 1. I'm probably in like episode 10. I'm going to get
Yeah.
back to it because I really have been heavy on Enterprise, but Enterprise has been, DS9's been kind of boring.
In the beginning it is.
It's terrible
hard
at the
to power
beginning.
through.
It's cringe watching Bashir trying to make out with Dax.
It's good nap TV. So if you need to fall asleep and you can't shut your
Yeah.
brain off,
And that's what happens.
yeah, but then it starts to get better.
And then every time the theme comes on, especially now that we're in season 3 with the upbeat version of the Faith song.
Oh God, I hate that.
But Crewman Patty always sings it when it plays. I think I got a blooper of her doing her quotes, where one of the quotes she does is from Archer, and she's like, "Hey, wait, which show is this from?" And I said, "Faith of the Heart," and then she starts singing it all.
I would say that would get us a lot of views if you posted her singing that. Like not on camera, but like just shit, I forgot. Oh my God, I'm getting so old I can't remember words. Shit, it's like when you're shooting B-roll when you don't know you're shooting.
Oh yeah,
just
like
play
bloopers
it.
type shit. But it is a
No.
it is a blooper.
Not really a blooper, because a blooper means that she's aware she's on camera. I'm just talking like if she's at the kitchen sink and you play it and you catch her singing it and she doesn't know you're videotaping, but you play it on the main TV.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, they're doing their podcast tomorrow night. I built them a new set. So they'll be doing their podcast.
I'm interested to see what their podcast is about and what they're going to do, but
they're just talking. Girlfriends talking about boys and things.
But sometimes you need that break between DS9.
PVG, I heard you stopped by the farmer's market yesterday and got to hang out with Crewman Patty.
I did. She's told me some stories.
Do tell.
We don't have time for that.
No, we don't. But it was interesting. Very interesting.
Wait, who was the story about?
It was about...
All right, I'll tell you a little bit of the story, but it's really not appropriate for on the air. But there's this... when they do the farmer's market, you know, they hire local bands, right?
Okay.
So last year when they were doing the farmer's market, they got this country singer, you know, cowboy. And he's really good. He's a really good performer. Like he's like, you know,
he's a one-man band.
Yeah, he just plays his guitar and he sings and he's really good. And in the farmer's market Facebook page, they posted, you know, like so and so was performing and Patty is like fangirling over him. And that was the premise, I think, of the story that Patty told PVG and his wife at the farmer's market about how I don't remember all the details, but you know, it's just like, hey, you know what? He's a good performer. You know, I get it. He's a good, I respect good performers. Like as a performer, you respect other good performers. And I'm like, damn, that dude sounds legit. I mean, I know it's hard to break into the music business. So just because you sound good is not enough.
Right.
But yeah, he sounds good. And I get how girls would be fangirling over him.
Does he watch Star Trek?
No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I don't know. You never know. You never know. But
you never know.
It was an awesome.
If you're watching though, and you know who you are, country singer that was at the farmer's market yesterday, drop a note in the chat. No, you weren't.
If you're not
here,
Trek.
You're not here. Okay. But
I'm gonna try. I'm contemplating waiting for you to catch up to DS9. I think I may stop at season 3 and wait for you to catch up.
All right. I will switch gears.
Sure, I can easily catch up to you on Enterprise.
Yeah, I do want to get, because Enterprise is good right now, right? I want to see how they close out this Xindi arc. So I'm going to probably just tough it out and get through Enterprise. Most of it's been good. They do throw in a bunch of like raw eggs in there every now and then.
It's a long arc. I think the Xindi arc lasts until
the end,
almost the end of the
show.
I think the end of it. I think I may be wrong.
Let me ask this question. This is I haven't seen it all, but we know that Enterprise is a prequel and it's supposed to honor the real timeline. We know in the Kelvin timeline, the destruction of the USS Kelvin changes the course of Starfleet to go into a more like aggressive posture, right? Like the ships are tougher. They make tougher ships because they know, you know what? There's bad people out there.
Right.
So why in the normal timeline where the Xindi attack Earth and kill 7 million people, why doesn't Starfleet why don't they already take a more aggressive posture? Like, why aren't they more like, we need to be tougher, we need tougher starships? Like, why does it take the Kelvin timeline to do that?
because they were executives at Paramount and they don't know the story. I mean, that's kind of like what I've been talking about the show not being controlled by the people that actually are interested in the show. I don't think Starfleet was more like you know what? Starfleet is like California right now. It's okay. Everybody be nice. Hey, if that guy breaks into your house, just make an effort to run away. You know, if you can, get out of your house, you know, call the police and hopefully they'll be able to fix it or we'll fix it in the long run, but it's okay.
I agree with 100%
That's the
with
dumbass
Magic.
shit.
Yes.
Because right now, I was going to say,
yeah,
because right now you have to run away if somebody breaks into the house.
right.
You're not allowed to shoot them.
I agree 100% with Magic. What he's saying, half of them are saying this, and then half of them are saying that. You know, hey, we need to be more aggressive, shoot to kill, do whatever it takes.
I mean, the one thing, and their compromise was they put Makos on the ship. My question is this. They didn't just create the Makos. The Makos were already there. The question is, why weren't the Makos there to begin with?
Great question.
I'm Yeoman Rand.
Unless, how many times we hear that SEAL teams are out or, you know, the other ultra branches of the service are out, you know, working. Maybe it's too covert.
No, I don't think it's... I honestly think it was... People were too... Because, mind you, the world wars were over. The Great Wars were over. There wasn't... we skipped warring with Klingons because we brought the big dude back in the opening episode. People were just too high on life. We've gotten rid of poverty. We've gotten rid of war. It's because that saying, you know, peaceful times make weak soldiers and vice versa. They were trying to keep it weak. They wanted to keep it peaceful. They didn't want to think of the repercussions of taking an unknown ship. Because mind you, the only people we had met so far were the Vulcans, the Klingons, and a couple of species that came along with the Vulcans, like the Talaxians.
Andorians.
And Andorian. No, we met the Andorians later on. We had heard of all these people, but we had never met them. They've heard of us, but never met us. So why would you, even to this day, if we were going to say, hey, we need to go to Jupiter. There's life signs on Jupiter. Advanced technology showing some sort of settlement colony. You know, they're not bacterial. They're people type. We wouldn't send a shuttle there without some sort of military training. Whether that's one or two dudes, because the shuttles are small as shit, or like 5 or 6 dudes. There's going to be some sort of military security force there to protect you and possibly attack the others. And in the act of protecting you, I don't get why Starfleet, it took getting half the planet zapped in half to have that take effect. Like, you can't get those people back. Now, technically, you can get them back because I think they already knew how to time travel with the intermix. They just said you can't really do it. Wait, what is this? There's a short series called Starfleet Year One. Takes place after the Earth-Romulan War. Starfleet has 2 factions, the Butterfly Collectors and the Boy Scouts. Yeah.
Let me ask this thought question, because we know the Vulcans were watching Earth before Cochrane ran the warp ship, the Phoenix. But Vulcans had their own kind of prime directive. But not every species has a prime directive. Like some species, as we've seen,
don't give a fuck.
Right, they will go and colonize a planet or they will enslave a planet. So why, especially now that we're seeing all these races out there like in the expanse, like these are just very cutthroat species. So, like, why was Earth not colonized? You would think that some species would just come in and say, hey, this planet is like ripe for the picking, and they got no technology.
There's no point. There's nothing here.
Yeah, nothing worth.
There's nothing worth doing it. And they're not, and we weren't going out and bothering anyone until we did the warp signature. It's the same thing. So let's say, and this would be a good alternate movie. What if Cochrane's first warp flight was detected by the Klingons, not the Vulcans? Would the Klingons come out and scan and like try and make contact and be like, okay, well, you got people, you got water, but there's lots of places you can get water. You're kind of backwoods. You're in the backwoods, and ain't nobody really fucking with anything in this around your star. And there ain't no reason for us to be here.
So you're saying that there's just no interest in the resources, or like, you know, like in these episodes that, I think we just saw an episode where a race, the Skagarians or whatever, they were kidnapping humans to do slave labor on their planet. So you don't, like, there wasn't more planets out there, more races that needed slaves to do work?
I think it comes down to versatility, kind of like what we mentioned earlier with the DS9 episode, the Voyager episode, and the TOS episode, where people were abducted, like the 37s. People were abducted and just used as slave labor because they fit the needs of that planet. That particular planet is oxygen rich, but their species can't do well there. They need a species that can, and humans fit the bill. And hey, look, there's a whole planet of these motherfuckers, and they have no way to defend themselves. Let's go ahead and just grab a couple hundred of them here and there. We'll make them a little colony. They'll obviously reproduce on their own and make them slave labor. That's why I said it would be an awesome show to have the Titan go back and touch base on these planets, like where the 37s are, the one in Voyager, the one in the Delta Quadrant where Chakotay's native Indians are. You know, go back and did these societies ever evolve to a point of space travel?
Question.
That's pretty dope. And I think because they don't really say how, they don't really go back at the end of Picard and fix it. Nothing really goes back. You just see moving forward. Seven is the captain or whatever. Either that or I missed that time jump or whatever. They never really go back and say where she ends up at, and if they ever go back and fix the timeline. So in that case,
she starts an OnlyFans.
They can. Well, in that case, yeah, they can go back and touch base with all these places.
Let me ask another question.
And Big Nuts Spock.
Big schlong. With all of the time travel that seems so easy, in Enterprise, there is this whole, at least through the first 3 seasons, this whole thing where the Vulcans deny time travel is possible.
Yes.
What is the deal with that? If time travel seems so easy for everybody.
Oh, that's what I was going to get to. Because the humans, this goes back to the, hey, we got to limit warp travel because it's causing these problems. The Vulcans did that shit originally by saying time travel is impossible. But then the humans did it so fucking easily. They literally found it by accident.
Intermix.
Maybe
the intermix. Let's warp around the sun.
Slingshot.
Let's do all these other things. Oh, we ran into the Borg. Let's initiate a tachyon pulse. And now the Vulcans said it was.
Particles.
I think the Vulcans kept saying that to push the rumor to everybody else in the galaxy that they were associated with or knew that time travel was impossible. And here we are, just humans. Oh, we time traveled. No, you didn't. Yes, we did. No, you didn't. Yes, we did. We'd do it again. hold my beer, watch this.
Maybe,
And then everybody sees it's easily done.
maybe time travel was so embedded in the Vulcans that it was taboo. And even though you do time travel, no, there's no way. It's not possible. You can't do it. You know, you can show them the scientific facts, but it's not possible. Just like
And I agree with that.
Just like today is you have people that are Christians and people that are atheists. You know, you can say this and this and this about Christians and this and this and this about atheists, and each one won't believe the other.
So I definitely see how the Vulcan, how that could definitely be pushed down through I think Vulcans discovered a long time ago. They said, this is too powerful for just everybody to know how to do. We have to deny, and it's pushed down through generations. Yeah. But the simple fact is, the same thing with mind melding was done. And now it's just say, oh, well, shit, everybody can do this shit. Before it was taboo and only select few people could do it. But now they're like, oh, pretty much any Vulcan could do it. And hell, we could teach some humans to do it. What is this? Some total of matter and energy cannot change. Obi's giving us some.
Well, because time travel would alter the amount of matter in a specific time period, or would that matter? Maybe time is just a construct.
So here is and as much as people make fun of him, here is one of the things that Neil deGrasse Tyson points out, and some other people point out as well.
Fun of his ass.
Time travel doesn't exist to the past because no one's done it. No one has come back from the future.
Except for Gene Roddenberry.
To say, hey, or maybe it's the opposite way. Yeah, no one has come back in our future lifespan. So in other words, 500 years from now, no one has come back to this point in time.
Except for Gene
to say,
Roddenberry.
hey, time travel exists, or been observed time traveling. But at the same time, if you time travel, you're removing the energy and matter from a future universe and introducing it into a past universe. Or you're displacing it. It could be like a wormhole. You're simply exchanging the matter in your body and the energy in your body with the energy in a space somewhere else. So you're literally just transferring it from one side to another. Therefore, the energy, the rule of conservation still applies. But I will say, go ahead.
Go.
No, go ahead, because I'm losing the thought.
I try to time travel every day. Let's say for today.
You're like Hiro Nakasumi from Heroes.
Let's say if right now this is fact. They're working on a main highway between Crewman Tommy and my house, and there is a detour, and this detour says, okay, you'll get there. That my GPS says I'll get there in 14 minutes. Well, let's say if I haul ass, I'm going to get there in 12 minutes, and the faster I get, I'm beating that time. Is that considered time travel?
Yeah.
No.
However, you're approaching the speed of light.
It would be. So on a very, 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 very small micro level, yes. Because if you move fast enough to approach the speed of light, then yes, you are time traveling from one observed person to another. But it's on a very micro level.
Wait, but is your Cadillac a V6 or a V12?
V6 turbo. Nah, I'm kidding. It's just V6.
See, if it were a V12, then we might say that you're time
traveling every day.
But every time you have to come to a curve, you got to slow down, and then.
But
not if you had the V on the side of your caddy.
Hit that impulse engines, and then
with
go
the checkered
back,
flag
slam
logo.
into warp, and.
So the premise is, let's say you work in science field, and you say, you know what? If I ever am able to time travel, I'm going to go back in time and tell myself it's possible and not to give up. maybe I'll learn this 100 years or 50 years sooner than I did, or maybe I'll avoid these mistakes. No one has done that at this point in time that they say. Now there are, what do we used to do on the other show? The Mandela effects. There are people that say that is a repercussion of time travel.
I think it's a repercussion of multiverse.
That would be the same thing.
All right, let me close it out with this comment.
You have to
are the Vulcans though? Is your theory that the Vulcans are just trying to convince people that it's not possible, but they truly do believe it's possible?
Yes. I think the Vulcans are trying to keep people, because think of it this way. The Vulcans are like in that top tier of species in the known galaxy. Like if you have to go to war with somebody, it's kind of like the Warriors. Don't fuck with the Wongs. Don't fuck with the Vulcans. They have technological advances.
They can go warp 7.
Same thing with the Klingons. Don't fuck with the Klingons. They're a warring race. That's all they do. They can fuck you up. Other species, humans are like, those are new motherfuckers. They're more of an annoyance.
Shaka.
And again, that's why I think a lot of people like V'ger and Borg, we've gone out and annoyed, and it wasn't until I rewatched Enterprise where T'Pol and Sarek kept saying, stop going out there and meddling your business and shit you have no business meddling in, because you're gonna piss people off.
Facts.
And I think that's what's happened is humans went out, spread out, and just started just because they could, and just started pissing people off. Now, all these species want to get to the Alpha Quadrant. Let's get to we know that time travel is not real because Vulcans sorted this thousands of years ago, but a couple of Vulcans, let us know that this is how you do it. Well, if we can get to, Alpha Quadrant 0.1 or 0.0, Earth, we can take them out.
With an F.
We can stop that final thing.
Why do you think other species call it Alpha Quadrant? Like, why wouldn't they call their quadrant the Alpha Quadrant? Our shit's the Alpha.
We're so...
That was a big ass question that I had. Why does everyone call this the Alpha Quadrant and the Beta Quadrant? Who agreed?
Right.
Again, the Earth is basically on a time scale, on a clock. We're second one. Vulcans are like 10:30 p.m. Everybody else is in between. Why are they following our dictation of we're the center of the universe?
Yeah, species 8472 might say, hey, we want to be the Alpha Quadrant.
I thought it was because we're orbiting the solar system, the sun. But then I think Vulcan, don't they have 2 suns?
Yeah, every place has a sun. We're not the only sun.
I think it's Star Wars.
We're not the only sun in the
You're
galaxy.
Thinking Tatooine.
Yeah, I think because every place has different suns, so it's not. And on our perspective, yeah, we're the center of the galaxy because we're the only galaxy that we know. We're the only planetary system,
according to Gene Roddenberry.
But Vulcans have suns there. Klingons have sun.
At least, well, they did, but not in the Kelvin timeline.
Regardless of that, they still have a sun because they had 2 suns. Remember, only one of them went.
2 suns.
Maybe it was just a good intersection.
Yeah. Why did? Who decided how the quadrants were split up?
Right.
No, let's make this one.
Did they have like a mapping committee? We need somebody from every species. We're gonna create a task force to create quadrants and sectors and maps.
See, and the prequel show and Academy show, that would be a good thing. Like how Starfleet came about. We would be able to see the warring factions. We need Makos on board. No, we don't. We need to be more sciencey. No, we need more Makos. We need to set up the mapping system. We have to go to these meetings, and those are things that I would be interested in seeing as a one-shot series. Maybe 3 seasons at most, but nothing more than that because we already know how everything ends. But it would fill in the gap of how things began that are still not covered today.
So I think IB is agreeing with you when he says, imagine if everybody had nuclear weapons, if everybody had time travel, the impulse is too seductive.
Right. And I think that's what the Vulcans realize. But at the same time, they realize, okay, how did the Borg learn how to time travel?
Yeah.
So everybody else knows that time travel.
Well, they assimilated somebody.
Who?
Well,
V'ger.
I mean, I don't know if the Vulcans. I mean, we think the Vulcans as Earthlings. We think the Vulcans are way advanced, but there's species that are way more advanced than Vulcans, and they're going to know how to time travel already. And they're not going to. They're going to be like, all right, the Vulcans are just lying to you. Everybody time travels. Let them
lie. Yeah, just let them lie. Let them have their fun. We know we are Time Lords.
We are Borg.
We know how to do this without fucking shit up.
Oh shit! Some big ass bug was just crawling on me. All right,
I think it would be interesting to see if Vulcans start time traveling now, because
obviously Spock does because he knows how to do the intermix.
I'm talking about as
High Council
on a whole, like a whole Vulcan ship is going to time travel. Like Spock does it with the Enterprise, but that's like, okay, the humans did it. But I'm saying, what would the Vulcans time travel back to see? Or what would they go into the future to see? And I think no one time travels to the future, because think of this possibility. Let's say we time travel right now to the future, and where we pop out, the Earth is destroyed. You're dead. Yeah, you have no way to get back. Or your sun is going supernova. There's nothing you could do.
Are the Romulans more advanced than the Vulcans? I mean, even though they're pretty close cousins, the Romulans developed the cloaking device first.
True.
Well, the Romulans and Vulcans are technically the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was broken down in a Kelvin, or it may have been broken down in Strange New Worlds or Discovery. They consider themselves cousins, but in reality, they're the exact same species.
Cousins.
They just one, kind of like what you said. You have atheists and Christians. One says we're going to purge all emotions in this way, and the other one said we're going to control our emotions in a much different way so that we can feel everything and we're not, anal retentive Vulcans. And so the ones that said we're going to do it this way, they just started calling themselves Vulcans. The other one said we're Romulans.
Anal.
All right, fuck it. We're going to go to different planets that are right next to each other. Vulcan, Romulan. So they are the same, but it's kind of like the whole, like I said, Christian and atheist things. I don't know why Vulcans don't implement a cloaking device.
Yeah. Or why the Romulans didn't go back in time.
IB says, according to the novel Spock's World, the Vulcans aren't more advanced due to several nuclear wars. I do remember one of them mentioned that Vulcan went through a very tumultuous time, but that was back when I think the Earth was still in the Stone Ages.
That was a sequel to Elmo's World.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Na.
I actually want to see. So let me ask you this. If, let's say, 20 years from now, someone makes a pulse engine that's able to break or get close to the light speed, and we are visited by an advanced civilization, how do you think that's going to go overall for the planet Earth?
If we get visited, then we're getting taken over.
Do you think so? I mean, it could be. Let's say it's a nice species. Do you think they're going to be like,
nice?
Hey, or do you think, because here's my thing. Most of the wars on the planet are over religion. Some religious aspect. most of the religions say we're the center of the universe and there's only one God and he made us and blah, blah, blah. Well, as soon as you're visited by an advanced species, that negates everything. That because the Bible and most other
you gotta
rewrite everything.
Or you have to reinterpret.
That's the thing. How are you going to reinterpret that for all these religions? Because they're all written by men. So
or
it's all
were
based
they?
on.
Maybe they were written by the aliens.
Well, we don't know that, but it's kind of like one of those things. Like, there's that. For my thought process is, it's probably going to be immediate wars on the planet because people are going to fight and say, no, this is based on Christian. This is based on this. And it's like, you're both wrong because there's a spaceship up here with people that don't look remotely like us at all who are coming down here, which means...
Or they might look like us. What if they look like us?
Then we'd be like, hey, where are the progenitors at?
Or
the second aspect, the second aspect to that is, look at what every major power that's reached out and traveled and discovered a new land has done. It didn't work out for the Native Americans, didn't work out for the Aztecs, the Mexicans, or the Spaniards, didn't work out for the native tribes in Australia. So
that's because they didn't have gunpowder yet.
Regardless,
that's like if we get visited by an advanced. I mean, anybody who can travel to Earth is way more advanced than us. Obviously,
I see a V situation going on. I don't know if you remember the show V.
We could easily get dominated.
That's what I think is going to happen.
I think there's two things.
I mean, that's why I'm wondering in the Star Trek world, why that didn't happen sooner. If there's all these life forms out there that can do space travel, you got Romulans, Andorians, Talaxians, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. How come somebody already didn't conquer Earth?
I'm going to ask you this, and this was posed on it's a thought question. I'll pose the answer to you this way. As big as your land is for your house, do you bother with an anthill that's at the furthermost reaches of your house, unless you are bored or unless it is causing a nuisance to your main house? Do you give a shit about that anthill?
No, because ants are useless. But what if it were...
there you go.
What if it were a little thing of horses that were off in the corner of...
That means you're close. If you're horses... You have something close. Hey, you got size. We could use your size for slave labor. But we're not that. We are ants.
But so what if we're horses?
But we're not horses.
No, but I'm saying we could be to some alien species that just needs us to...
Then if we're horses to somebody that needs us, take your size as an average human being. Can you fight a horse?
No, but I'm saying... I'm using that in the context of I can lift rocks, right? Like if some alien species says we need people that can just lift rocks, we're going to come take all your people. All you have to do
is resist. Again, if we're horses and they are us, you can resist that.
Yeah, but if they got the ability to travel between planets and the closest planet that has life is probably light years away, they obviously have way more technology. And what they'll do is they'll kill 1 million people and say, okay, who doesn't want to die?
You can have that mentality. That was slave mentality. Literally slave mentality from 400 years ago. Because you had 6 dudes on a horse controlling hundreds of slaves because they're afraid to get shot. Hey, sacrifices have to be made. I joke about saying that, but it's true. If we are horses... And somebody, let's say the aliens are equivalent to the size of your child, but she could travel here and there. That doesn't mean anything. You could still
but what
stop
if they got a laser gun? They might have a laser gun.
There's 5 trillion people on the planet. Your laser gun can only hit a couple. Sacrifice has to be made.
All right, what if they do this? What if they say, okay, everybody, look at your phone screen. We are going to
Look,
destroy.
We just watched that.
We're going to destroy the planet Mars. Watch this. And they show us on TV that they destroy the planet Mars, and they say, "Do you want Earth destroyed?"
Fuck around and find out. You got to fight.
There's
you literally got to have a fight at that point because you destroyed a planet that has no life on it, no significance, and now you're threatening us.
Right. But they're showing that they've got the power to destroy a planet.
You're gonna have a V scenario, or what is the more recent one with Nolan? What's his face from
The Colony?
I forgot what it is.
Oh,
no, it's not The Colony. It's another one. I want to say The Last Stand, but that's not it. It's basically aliens come and invade Earth. You're gonna have people that are gonna want to be like, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, and they're gonna want to go there. And then the majority of the planet is gonna be like, fuck you, I'd rather die fighting than subject myself to your
and
rule.
I'm sure that's what would happen here. Is we would try to fight. What's the one with Chris Evans where he goes into the future, and then his daughter is like a colonel in the future, and they're fighting this.
That's the dude from The Office.
Yeah, they're fighting this. They're fighting
Future
this
Wars.
alien species that tries to invade Earth. And
see, wait, have you watched that movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so the alien species doesn't invade Earth.
They're already underneath. Like
they've already been underneath.
Yeah, they're under
Earth
the crust
for
or
thousands
something.
Of years.
Yeah,
they've been there since. They are the asteroid that caused the holy shit, the deep freeze that killed the dinosaurs. These dinosaurs are a million years ahead of us. So I'm definitely gonna check out that show, IB, or the book. Hopefully they have an audiobook for it.
Or a movie made
but
for TV.
So that one with not Chris Evans. What's the dude's name from The Office?
Jim?
Isn't Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, you're talking about the silent movie?
No, the dude from Guardian of the Galaxies. Star-Lord. What
Chris,
is his
That's Chris Evans.
No,
It's not Chris Evans. Chris Evans
he's
is
Chris
Captain
something
America.
else.
Oh, Chris. I'm saying Captain America, Chris Evans, but no, it's the other Chris.
Right. Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Chris Pratt.
So, yes, that is a good movie. And that I foresee that definitely could be something that happens because we're turning and burning through the atmosphere and Arctic ice, and we haven't explored any of that information or those areas. So I definitely can foresee that. There's diseases that are now popping back up and being released because plant life that was gone decades ago or years ago is now becoming unfrosted and it's popping back up. There ain't shit you could do about it. That shit was already here. I definitely think that's something more likely to happen, but I definitely think even in that case, that is all of these scenarios are one way that the Earth can pull together to fight as one and get to
Allies.
the status of a Starfleet area.
Yeah.
But before you get there, there's going to be some massive, massive wars.
I got three things. I remember, I'm older than you guys. I remember President Reagan saying that the only way we're all going to get together is when aliens come to attack us. And
Thank you. Wait. Say that again, because I've been saying that for years. It's going to take an alien attack
to bring us all together.
Yes,
And then,
or a massive natural disaster.
the second thing is, I bet you we have technology that nobody knows. I guarantee you that we have technology that nobody knows of. And going back to part one, if the aliens attack, we're all going to work together. We're all going to share our technologies,
Kumbaya.
I don't think that's going to
exactly.
happen.
And
I don't think that's going to happen at first.
Well, yeah, but then number three, you were talking about ants, and you were talking about horses, and I have both. I have land. I have horses. I wouldn't really worry about the horses. I would worry about the ants, because if you look down and look at that ground, you'll see one ant hole, and then you'll see another ant hole, and then you'll see another and another, and you only see the top of these ant holes. How far do these things go down? What kind of damage?
So if you saw that, and I've seen them where they pour liquid aluminum in the holes and they cast them out. That's what I'm saying. Unless you're bored or have a concern for those ants, you're not going to bother them.
Yeah. Like you were saying.
Or if it's not even on your land, let's say it's a half-mile away and it's not even near your house, and you come across an anthill, you're going to be like, oh, that's an anthill. Probably goes down really far, but it's nowhere near posing a threat to my household. So you're not going to fuck with it. Now, if it's directly in your backyard and it's starting to creep up and you're seeing ants trail their way into your house or around your house, you're going to deal with it. It's causing a nuisance. And that's what the humans did in Star Trek. And that's why everybody's like, all right, we need to smack these fuckers down, because they're becoming a nuisance, and they have the technology, or at least the mentality, to stumble across the technology to cause some issues.
You were talking about pouring molten lead or whatever down an anthole, and then after it cures or cools off, you dig this thing up, and you got this monstrous, thing where everything is hollowed out, and you times that by the ant holes you got on your property, and it's just unbelievable.
That's humans for you.
I mean, and then your horses will stomp on it, and they'll turn an ankle, break a leg, and then they get put down, and then
now
they
it
say
becomes a hassle for you. Now you go out there
sad.
with some diesel gas and a flamethrower, and you say, "Time to kiss it goodbye."
They say
equivalent to the Zindi laser weapon.
The meek will inherit the earth. Think about that. The meek will inherit the earth. What does that mean?
It means that those that cannot do are just going to hide, and those that say, "Hey, we're friendly. Oh, take us with you." Those are the ones that are going to get shot up. The ones that underestimate or try and resist and aren't good at it, they're going to get killed. And once they realize there ain't shit on this planet, everybody that just hid and just held their own, like, hey, let's not fuck with them. Don't fuck with the Wongs. Are the ones that are going to be, are going to be the ones that are left over. It's going to be like what is that movie with Will Smith where he's the last man on Earth? With the zombies. Or, it's going to be like a lot of those movies.
Legend, I Am Legend.
Yeah,
or something
I Am
like
Legend. And even then, at the end, you realize, there was another colony of people. And they just fortified themselves in and said, hey, let's not try and take over the world. Let's just save our little neighborhood like The Walking Dead. We got a housing development. We're going to block this off. We're going to secure our little area and make sure we're safe here. And then we'll worry about everything else. We can arrange to go out and get food and water, other resources. And we can send a signal out to people once we're secured here that if you need a safe place, you could come here. But again, that's the meek. Those are the people that are just at some common damn sense. Everybody else, you probably did.
All right, take us home. Wrap it up, PVG.
Give us our Jerry Springer word of the day or phrase of the day or thought of the day.
Or just tell people to like and subscribe.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Like and subscribe and share. It's I want to thank IB for joining us all the way from New York.
New York City.
Right.
New York City.
We just call it the city.
The city.
Let's not forget Crewman Sherry making her return.
Thank you.
She's back
She was
from
a little quiet
Paducah.
tonight.
Back from Paducah,
So
Where's Paducah?
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
They went on a road trip over the weekend.
Nice. Yeah. Shout out for everybody that joined us today. If you're watching this later on, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Keep an eye out for us.
Thanks for joining things in the chat.
Yeah, definitely.
And keep
thanks,
an eye
IB,
out
for correcting me on my things and giving me a lot of suggestions to look into. Especially the alien years. And I'm still, this bugging me, the TV show with the guy from ER. And it's about an alien invasion.
Oh, Sky something.
Yes. The Skies Falling Skies.
Falling Skies.
That's it. That is a great.
Yeah.
And probably the most realistic since V. Definitely
realistic.
V had shitty graphics.
Realistic, if we got invaded, it would be like Falling Skies.
Because it would be more like, because a lot of people are like, oh, you expect, they're going to be Vulcans. Why? Why would you think it's going to be Vulcans? You're going to have insectoid or something with an exoskeleton. They're not going to look like us. That's why I said it's much more closer to Falling Skies than anything else. Good night, IB. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, IB.
All right. We're going to wrap. Keep an eye out.
And I'm going to say this. If I am able to time travel in the future, I'm going to come back now and ring my doorbell.
All right. It's happening.
Not happening. I'm no time travel. Either that or I'm dead by next week or some shit.
It's happening in an alternate universe. But okay, and keep an eye out for more shorts from our other crewmen that sometimes help us with those things. Peace
by
out,
shorts,
everybody.
he means videos, not actual shorts that are worn. He does not have his catalog set up to ship those out. Yet.
We got both.
Although I'm sure. Yeah, never mind.
Thank you, IB. Appreciate that.
Thanks, IB. And thanks, everybody. We'll catch you guys next Sunday. Peace out.
Nanu.